Fighting games are not an easy genre to get into, and I can definitely understand why they're so intimidating to the casual audience. Before I took the time to learn how to play the genre, I had the same opinion as most people. Fighting games are dumb. Why do I have to do all these inputs to do what I want? They're too hard for no reason at all. It wasn't until Marvel vs. Capcom 3 where I finally found the love and drive to get better at the genre. My best friend at the time didn't have a hard drive for his Xbox 360, so we couldn't play games like the Halo series when I'd go over. This meant that I either had to bring my own hard drive, or that we had to play games that took me out of my comfort zone, like my first non-Smash Bros. Fighting game with Marvel vs. Capcom 3. At first, he demolished me. To this day, he is the most talented button masher I've come across. It was so infuriating to lose every time we played, so I did research. I found Maximilian Dude's Assist Me series and I learned the basics of the game. I learned how I should be blocking my friend's button mashing and what kind of combos I should do. My setup was simple: a Deadpool on point to use guns to build meter, keep him out and whittle down his team's health bars, Wolverine next to do the same, use basic combos to build more meter, and to do as much damage as possible. Finally, I would pull out the Hulk. Hulk had one of the easiest touch of death combos in the game as long as he had level 3 X Factor, which you got from having your other two team members die. So I'd run through the rest of his team with the Hulk pretty easily, and from that day forward I was the fighting game boy in my friend group. You see, in my journey to dethrone the 7th grade button masher, I learned the truth. Fighting games weren't hard for no reason. The difficulty exists to give the player as much control over their character as possible, and it delivers the most satisfying learning experience in video games. Nothing compares to starting day one with a character and then getting to the point where my friends would refuse to play me when I was playing my main. If you guys enjoy multiplayer games and you hate the feeling of losing a game just because your team was holding you back, fighting games are for you. If you like games that don't hold everybody's hand, that actually reward skilled players for being good, fighting games are for you. If you want the most fun genre to play at parties or locally with friends, fighting games are for you. If you not only enjoy watching esports but like watching it for a variety of games, fighting games are for you. This genre should appeal to so many people, but this scary barrier I just discussed intimidates a lot of people and they never end up trying the genre out. Luckily for you guys, a beginner-friendly fighting game that will still reward you when you inevitably get really good is on the horizon, and it might not be the game you'd expect to be welcoming to beginners. Mortal Kombat has always been one of the most casual-friendly series in the genre. You don't have to be a good player to appreciate ripping off heads, misplacing organs, and seeing characters like Predator and Freddy Krueger in a fighting game. There's a reason this series always sells consistently well. The developers obviously knew this, and I believe they intentionally designed Mortal Kombat 11 to be the perfect fighting game for someone to start their journey with. Let me elaborate. NetherRealm games, to me, have always been easier than their competition, at least since the release of MK9 and Injustice 1. While playing at the top level is just as hard as any other fighting game, the barrier to entry is lower. NetherRealm games had features like a throw button. Instead of pressing what was usually 1 and 2 at the same time to do a throw, you could just press left bumper. They had simpler inputs. Instead of making an entire circle to do a throw on the D-pad, in these games you just had to press down, back, and forward. Instead of having to come up with your own combo strings on the fly and create them yourself, these games gave you a list of pre-canned combo strings for you to memorize and use. Hell, in the Mortal Kombat games they even give you a block button. You just hold down the button and you block, which completely takes away the possibility of holding back when you should be holding forward and vice versa. So yeah, the basics to these games were a lot easier than their fighting game counterparts like Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat 11 takes that barrier to entry and brings it down even further. Normally, these games admittedly had pretty tough combos and pretty tough execution. To do a decent combo, it might take a player who isn't used to fighting games a long time to figure something out that does good damage. Mortal Kombat 11 combos are a lot simpler and way easier to execute. Your average combo in MK11 is combo string, amplified special move, combo string, amplified special move, combo string, special move to end the combo. This will net you decent damage with the majority of the cast, and if you can't do that combo, you're not even trying. Mortal Kombat 11 also focuses on gameplay that's beneficial to both longtime veterans and new players. This game focuses on neutral, which is any point in the match when you aren't doing damage to your opponent or pressuring your opponent. Neutral is that stage of the fight where both players are feeling each other out and trying to get the other person to make a mistake that'll lead one person into a state of advantage over their opponent. Because of this, Mortal Kombat 11 is a pretty honest fighting game. Instead of starting someone in something like Dragon Ball FighterZ or Marvel vs. Capcom, where the strategy is to do the nastiest and filthiest actions your mind can concoct against your opponent, Mortal Kombat is a game where the player with stronger fundamentals will win. Veteran players are rewarded because they'll have the better neutral, and like I just said, they'll be able to win matches off of their fundamentals alone. The newer players are rewarded because they get to learn the most important aspects of fighting games every time they play a match. When the opponent uses those pre-canned combo strings and their normals to pressure the player, that player will learn blocking and defense. The only directions that player needs to learn how to block are standing or crouching. This isn't Marvel, where an Akuma assist could be pressuring you on one side while the actual player character is hitting you on the other. And to survive, you need to successfully block standing, crouching, forward, or back. The defense in MK11 is a lot simpler to understand. When the opponent notices the player's tendency to block their strings and the opponent starts using unblockable throws to mix up their offense, that player will learn how to tech throws or just crouch or neutral jump to be able to make the throw whiff. I really recommend just crouching without blocking though, because teching throws is dangerous for a reason we'll discuss later on. Throws are in every fighting game, and this one makes them kind of easy to avoid. Players will learn how to maintain pressure on block, remain safe, mix up the opponent, use movement to stay out of the opponent's range, and in a range where the player is most effective. Poke with long-reaching moves, making opponents miss their moves so the player can punish, and changing up their offense to remain unpredictable just by playing the game and reacting to what works against opponents and what doesn't. Now, I already know what the fighting game veterans watching are saying. Can't you learn that stuff in any fighting game? Which is an alright point. The fighting games that exist, which is all of them, feature neutral, and these lessons can be learned in some way or another in any game ranging from Killer Instinct to Dragon Ball FighterZ. The key difference here is how often the player will play neutral in these games and how long the neutral stage lasts. KI can have the player in either pressure or combo for the entire match, and the same can be said for games like Dragon Ball or Marvel vs. Capcom. Hell, touch-of-death combos that completely eradicate a character's health bar are super commonplace in Marvel 3. Mortal Kombat 11's core gameplay is built around players either playing neutral for long periods of the time or them playing it often. So while fighting games will teach the player neutral, Mortal Kombat 11 might just be the best game to teach the said subject. I mean, the game's damage even goes up for characters who play the neutral more effectively. MK11 features crushing blows, which are just versions of attacks that do more damage and have some additional effects. To get a crushing blow, a player needs to meet certain prerequisites. One of these prerequisites are related in some way to landing a punish/counter hit. To land a punish/counter hit, all you need to do is punish an unsafe move or missed move or hit the opponent before one of their moves they inputted comes out. This obviously goes hand in hand with playing good neutral, and the best part is that it will encourage new players to improve their neutral and fundamentals so they can use these moves too. It's because of this reason that I think crushing blows are the best new mechanic in MK11 and my personal favorite. That, and they just look sick as hell. So the game has a built-in mechanic that encourages development for neutral, and that helps it a lot. Mortal Kombat 11 is also going to have an ass ton of single player content for casual players to play while getting used to the game. You can look forward to a story mode that's guaranteed to be better than its competition, as well as towers and gear for you to challenge and collect. This game will also let you customize how your character plays, letting you select special moves and combo strings to add to the base moveset for the character. This means you are guaranteed to find a character that will fit your playstyle because you're the one that's changing how they play and deciding how they function. This is more or less going to give you more creativity than any other fighting game in the market right now. Finally, we get to arguably the most important reason why MK11 is a great game to start with, and even why I'm making this video weeks before the game even comes out. Mortal Kombat 11 is going to sell really well. It's going to have a ton of new players, just like you if you're thinking about getting this game, and a ton of content creators just like me, helping said new players along their journey. There will be so many resources and an absurd amount of practice partners for beginners to use to strengthen their play. Whether it's a combo tutorial, a video explaining all of the mechanics in Mortal Kombat 11, a tournament match to highlight good strategies for new players, or a coach that'll help you directly, there is no end to all of the genuinely helpful content that'll be coming out for this game. In the description below, I will be posting links to channels for a lot of these resources to help you guys get started when this game releases. Now here's the part of the video where I beg and I plead. If you have ever thought about getting into a fighting game, please do not wait for Mortal Kombat 11 to be out for a while before you try and get into it. Please get into the game as soon as you can, because you will be hurting your growth as a direct result. When a fighting game launches, all of the tech discovered for sure works in the current build of the game, and all of the players will be starting at the same level. Sure, some will obviously get better faster than others, like the veterans that have been playing forever, like me, but everyone will be learning this game and growing as a community. When this game is out for a while, you will be left on your own. Some insanely helpful resources will inevitably become outdated, and as players get better, it'll be tougher and tougher to find competition that's your level. I can't stress enough how hard it is to play catch up on an older fighting game. Trust me from personal experience. I will never forget the hell that me and my sender went through while we battled our way into ranked. While yeah, it is still possible to get good, it's just a lot more trouble than it would be if you just got the game earlier, as long as you can afford it earlier. If, for some reason, you managed to find this video after Mortal Kombat released, you're far from the future, and you're thinking about getting into it, right? You don't have it yet, but you're thinking about it. Yes, I still think the game will be good for you. Unless Injustice 3 is already out, Mortal Kombat will still have a large community. You'll just have to be more careful with what resources you use, as they might be outdated, and you'll have to suffer for the very start, as it'll be pretty rare to find someone as new as you are to the game. I will still exist though, and I would happily help you understand the basics of Mortal Kombat 11. As a follow-up to said begging, if you know anyone that has ever thought about getting into fighting games, send them this video. By far, fighting games are my favorite genre, and more than anything, I just want to see more people giving them a chance. Especially now that NetherRealm came from the heavens and bestowed upon us the perfect jumping on point. My name is Nosy Boy. Feel free to join the Discord link in the description of the video to talk to me directly and to ask me questions. Unlike a lot of channels or servers, I'm really active and I respond to everybody that PMs me. There's also a community of welcoming people that will joke around with you, learn alongside you, and welcome you with open arms. I even host a podcast where the guests are subs in my Discord. Again, share this video to anybody who's interested in the genre and hopefully it'll make them jump on. And if you're thinking about jumping on with somebody, send them this video and hopefully I convince them to join you. I know a lot of my subscribers aren't really fans of fighting games, so I hope I've intrigued you as well, and let me know if I managed to change your mind in any way. And with all of that said, I'll smell you guys later.